And she used to do videos too.
Welcome everybody. We kind of jump out a little bit early today, 5 minutes before the time, but we jump out just the same. So, where we really are going this week is that we are talking to Yannick Reid. Yannick Reid himself, you know what I mean? So, this episode is called Creative Always Be Creating, Creative Directing. This thing I run too fast. Let me slow this thing down, it a move too fast. My teleprompter shot. Alright, so this episode is called Creative Always Be Creative Directing. Yannick Reid, known for his portrait, concert photography, and also being Protoje, has created some amazing work over the years. He's also a designer at art and has done many work and has done many artwork, portraits, and music video for artists like Protoje, Janine, Sevana, Lila Ike, just to name a few. Alright, you wanna people? A time to look back. Short film. Bye. Reid himself, welcome, brother, welcome. You don't know how my title is your title. It's a Yannick Reid, everybody. I know Ishaka Shango.
Bless up, bro. Bless up, everybody. Yeah,
Yo,
man, bless up,
there, you know.
everybody. I want to stay.
Long time, long time no one talk to the youth and kind of give some energy to, all the creativity where we see the youth are doing. The youth are doing a lot. You know what I mean? As I say,
Give thanks.
Director for Protoje, and a bag of things, you know what I mean? He might do a whole heap of work behind the scenes, or you don't even know say he might do the work same way, but I say a bad artist. Bad artist. So, Yannick Reid, my one still today, how I go on the title in them. Yannick Reid himself, so what going my brother, everything good? Me now hear here. Hold on, hold on. You mute. Alright. Alright, go on now. Go on
Right.
now.
Yeah, man. May I say bless
Ah,
up.
cool.
May I do well, big bro. Me there, I take it one day at a time, you know what I mean? But we'll give thanks. We're safe and we're healthy, you see me?
Yeah, yeah, man. We're there, same way I go and hold it, you know. So, one of the main questions I want to ask you, the first question I want to ask you still is that, how did you get started basically as a content creator, as a creator in the space? How did you, Yannick Reid, you know what I mean, get started, so to speak?
Well, truth be told, the first real professional introduction I had into, content creation was photography. I used to do graphic design like freelancing early in the years before I even started going to art school. But truth be told, the first little earning power that I had was doing photography, being a second shooter for my father, who is a PR photographer in a more like corporate space. So one of the things that I used to enjoy doing with him was reggae fest. So I would go a lot of years and shoot. And a couple of years more I see you down there so to
Yeah,
I
yeah,
shoot,
yeah,
you
you
see
know?
me? So yeah, in the pit. So that was really the first thing. And while shooting with him, I was learning, how to be a graphic designer and thing, and I was also teaching myself how to do video, shoot and edit to supplement those skills. So it's really just along that journey of, just wanting to be able to be self-sufficient as a creative, as well as, self-employed, have the skills that I feel is necessary for be able to, create a body of work without having to do so many things outside of myself. Yeah.
Oh, okay, brother. I see what you say. So, in other
Mm.
words, you say basically your father, who is a photographer himself. So basically, you just follow some of the footsteps of your father. Your father, who is a photographer himself, basically usually bring a go reggae son first and say, "Yo, shoot, youth." Cause me hear mention the story already. I'm gonna watch your stories them and
Yeah,
you say,
man.
"Yo." You know what I mean? So that is really your first experience in the content creation and basically just a try for you know what I mean, get the best shot them as possible or go through the shot them and look upon them and say, oh good, me get a good one. So you are basically create your eye, your feel for photography and for concert photography from then because when I look upon your work them Brad, I can tell you say yo, your concert photography bad and I can see it in your work and say yo, you have experience in the field, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
thanks,
it's not just
bro.
a person who
Hmm.
just get up today and start shoot. It's a somebody with experience. I mean I look upon it and I say, yo, that crazy. So the man work looks so nice and I say, yo, I'm glad for say yo, a photographer when I know, when I see in IP sometime bad like that and
Hmm.
I reach a level when I reach. So now the next thing
Hmm.
I want to talk to you about is really art school. You mentioned art school, so how did art school now after you learn a little bit about photography with your father? How did art school, so to speak, help to develop you as a creator and a creative in the space?
Well, when I was wrapping up high school, that was a lot of time when I was starting to do graphic design. I was going to Edna Manley for night school. Just as the extra because I was really interested in graphic design and I had Photoshop on my computer and I was like, I really like this. I feel like I can do this full time. So, I wanted to go to art school to basically hone that craft as best as possible. I wanted to learn as much as I could about graphic design and illustration. And I thought that, it was a great career path because I'm passionate about art and this is what I was doing in my free time. So that is how I ended up going to art school, and I left with a bachelor's in fine art. Well, that's the technical title, a bachelor's in fine art, but specialized in what they call visual communication, which is what the graphic design department falls under the ability to communicate an idea or message visually by use of graphics and illustration. So yeah. Mm.
Okay, Mr. So yeah, say so. You basically going to art school has helped a lot in you being a creative director because, as I say, yo, you have to understand how to communicate. One through visual, through storytelling and stuff like that, and also be able to explain, be able to explain to another creator, so to speak, how to communicate when you want them to communicate a certain way. So I definitely understand what you say in terms of you being a content creator and you being a creator overall, so to speak, and how that translate into you. You know what I mean? Teaching
Mm-hmm.
other creators. I wouldn't say teach them, but showing them how you want your content to create, so to speak. You know what I mean? So kind of walk me through a bit.
All right, well, going to art school, it kind of foster an environment where you you are working alongside others, working alongside other students. You get to get a look into how other people's work process is like. You have your colleagues and you get the same tasks and you get the benefit of seeing how different people arrive at the goal that is put towards them. So that sense of working together, seeing how other creatives work, and that sense of community is very beneficial when you are in the field of a creative director, because a creative director is not necessarily the person who does all the art, but what it is that you should be able to communicate the. So I work for Protoje as his creative director. So what I do is I help to facilitate his vision, as well as I can build on ideas that he has, or goals that he has, and understand how to flesh them out. And sometimes I execute the idea, and sometimes I find persons who are more skilled than myself in a specific task to execute the idea, and I know how to communicate with them as an artist, as somebody who went to art school and learn how to communicate with non-communicators, non-artists, as well as work alongside other communicators. So that's where it's really important. So I think that's how I allowed myself to kind of fit into that role.
Okay, okay, mad, mad, mad. So, in other words, I say, yo, school give you that capability because, as I say, a lot of graphic artists or designers are even, when it comes to understanding how other people communicate and how other people basically put their
Mm-hmm.
stories together, and even how they take somebody's story and explain it to somebody else so them can understand. A lot of designers, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
content creators struggle with that. So you said the
Mm-hmm.
university, Edna Manley basically, foster that type of growth inside of you. For you say, oh, all right then, given that I get so much experience with having different creators around me, me get a sense of understanding how them operate, so me can operate on a level for communicate with them. So now you're a creative director, you can communicate with other creators for them help out the process. Yo, that is amazing, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that is amazing. I mean, that is amazing because communication is everything. Everything. And if you
Mm-hmm.
can't communicate, bruv, you have an issue, you know what I mean? So the next thing I really want to talk to you about,
Definitely.
next thing I want you to flush out is your designs. We talk about your design because I see you put out some bad designs and stuff like that. So let's talk about designing because
Mm.
one of the things I like about you to Yannick, you always drop gems on the Instagram. You always talk on the Instagram and me I say, yo, I love when Yannick talk because Yannick always talk about, when them talk about business, when them talk about business process, when them talk about how him operate as a businessman and stuff like that. So more if you drop some of them gems there on the stream and make the people them understand, say, yo, as a creative, you have to understand these things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being a creative, it can be a really rewarding experience. But I think sometimes because of just the nature of Jamaica, um, a lot of creatives don't get the opportunity or the guidance to really understand what is required of you outside of just being able to do your craft. So even if it's not designing, even if it's just cooking, there's not a lot of communication as to how do I go about a business as a chef or as an illustrator, and and how do I carry myself. And I feel like a lot of that is missing in at least the Jamaican landscape as to how to ensure that our creatives are also great business people. And a lot of these lessons, me learn them the hard way. I'm not gonna lie, a couple wrong bank, going a couple meetings, I make a couple mistakes and things. But the thing is, one thing about like failure and frustration is that they are great teachers. And when you feel failure and frustration firsthand, I know for myself, speaking for myself, is that feeling frustration or failure always motivate me to fix something. Meaning if it's something happening, it means that there must have been something that went wrong along the process, and there must be a way that I can fix it. So even after every job, I have a little notebook, and I love to write at the end of the job what I liked about how that job went, and I like to write about what I didn't like about that job. And when you do that a couple times, you start to notice patterns and things. And it's even before I accept a job, I like to just take a quick look over the things that I didn't like about the last job. And these things remind me of just the points of contention that I had previously, and it gave me a reference of how to work with them. So meaning if like say a last project, just for example, say I didn't communicate, or the client's expectations for when the project was delivered was not the same as mine, I can be able to admit that maybe I did not communicate deliverable times as clearly as possible. So I know going into the new job, and also a thing that I'm going to work on is making sure say I communicate deliverable time to the client as clearly as possible, because that's my job to basically help my client to understand what they can expect is going to happen along the process. So, it's just the whole nature of just learning after every experience, and the desire to just be better and have as little friction as possible. You get me? I mean, I really like to feel like a bag of friction and bag of discomfort and them thing there. And I always say, how can I improve myself? There are some times where the client is going to be wrong, but you want to minimize as much as how much you are wrong, so that you don't have to end up in situations where you have to do over client work at no extra cost, or you have to or you have to give back a refund or any of these things, or get a bad review. So all of these things are things that you work on, because is that being able to just be a dope creative is almost like less than half of the job. It's really your attitude and how you handle business and how you deal with people, because in content creation or visual communication, it's all about communicating. So there's always somebody on the other end. So you have to be people oriented. So it's just all of those things are just making sure I understand people and psychology, and how to communicate and express myself the best way, so that me and my clients are always on the same page.
Brother, what you just said a while ago is like me I listen because my thing is I've been having conversation. As I can see, that show you I run now for like about 4 or 5 weeks. Well, 4 weeks. Cause you're the fourth person up on the show.
Mm-hmm. Congrats.
And no, eruption no, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Robson,
fifth. Yeah, you're the fifth
Seeds,
person up on the show. So this is the
yeah.
fifth week of this show, and I've been hearing about this communication, and even me myself as a content creator, sometimes I realize the little lack when I lack in a communication sometimes can throw off the project, because
Mm-hmm.
as I say, you never communicate clearly about the deliverables, and you never communicate about clearly about the time, or when a person give you the work,
Mm-hmm.
you never necessarily communicate clearly, say yo, this cannot happen in the time where you need it to happen. So I know you want it
Yeah,
in a 1 day, but this is unrealistic. So if you want it in a 1 day, use somebody else, because me can't possibly do it in a 1 day. So sometimes, as I say,
definitely.
when you don't communicate these things, it creates a certain rift between you and the client, and then you have this mishaps and this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and communication, attitude, you know what I mean, energy. Me I hear all of these things every time I talk to an ex-creative. So when me basically I use this creative always be, so to speak, podcast or show or whatever you want to call it, is to kind of get a sense of what most creatives when me I talk to kind of experience, and hope that the people them who watch it can also get this same sense, so them can learn from it, because this is a learning experience for me myself. We there
Mm-hmm.
talk to Yannick, we talk to other creatives, and we are learn. So me don't know all, Yannick no know all. I'm sure Yannick got some of the thing and say, yo, we never even know say I saw that thing they got same way. So My
Yeah.
my my thing when we come up with this idea is really to try and educate some other people and know some young youth who are come up in the business sometime and them
Mm.
type of experience. One of the things I want to talk to you about, Yannick, as usual. I remember years now, you talk about pricing, not your price, but when you just are coming at the business and you want to find out about pricing and the elder man them in the business who did it before you never want to give you the
Mhm.
information, and by not giving you the information, what can happen by you not enabling a young creative with the information so them can move forward. So talk about it, Yannick.
All right. So you say any business will exist, or most, I shouldn't say any, but most, especially creativity and content creation or art, is a fluid business, meaning that you're going to have a lot of people entering in, and you're going to probably have a good amount of people who are exiting out. And a lot of the people who are entering in are probably going to be amateurs, and they're probably going to be young. And I would say I fall somewhere hopefully in the middle or the upper tier. And what is important, is that um me as somebody in the industry who is visible, I have a responsibility to the people who are entering the industry. Maybe it's not to talk to everybody, but be able to share as much as I can with the persons who are entering in, especially about price, because if it's just the economy, if a bunch of the novices are coming in and they lower the floor of costs and kind of ruin the relationships of what value and prices are. What that does is those attitudes will move up the ladder and reach me eventually, where it will be harder to state my value to my clients, because they're going to say, well, this man, I do it for this price, so why am I not go to them? And people who say these things, I say, well, go work with an amateur, and no hard feelings or anything. But I believe that they will see that, the money that you pay for an amateur, you will kind of see it in the work. But what is important is that, if there's some amount of nurturing that can happen for the persons entering the business, where they can have an early understanding of what the value of their work is that the elasticity of the price will not fluctuate as rapidly, because there will be people who come in, and if them just say, just for example, if them say, yo, that photo is $1,000 or whatever, a man on the low end might charge 800, and then when him link me and him hear $1,000, at least maybe a man might say, oh, it look like we not gonna get this for much lower than that price, so maybe I need to just go with who I prefer or who I feel comfortable with. You get me? So that helps the industry overall, because if just people just come in and reduce the floor and take that photo for 200, there's gonna be way less people who think that there's value in buying the photo at $1,000. And yeah, somebody could just say, I'm worrying about my pocket. But I would love to believe that these amateurs who are coming in the business are eventually going to become experts one day, and they would like to reach a tier within the business. The work that they put in to reach an expert, they can reap the rewards of that work. So even if they came in and they were charging 500 or whatever, they would love to reach a point where they can earn 1,000 for what they're charging. And it is the sustainability of the industry that allows them to be able to reap those benefits after hard work. So that is just the role I think I have to play in contributing to the industry. Yeah.
Big brother. It's a thing when I always say as a creative, Yannick. And that's the reason why I make this
Mm.
show more a conversation than 500 questions. We ask questions, we
Mm-hmm.
kind of flush out certain things. We make it more a conversation than anything. One of the things that me always say
Mm-hmm.
about all the creatives them in Jamaica, especially the people them on the upper echelon of the creatives field, they should always be communicating and have an understanding of what pricing is in that space. So if you're a photographer, you need to understand what pricing is
Mm-hmm.
in that space. If you're a videographer, you need to understand what pricing is in that space. If you are a designer, I mean like you do graphics, illustration, whatever the case may be, once you understand pricing in that space, you can better You know what I mean? Keep the
Mm-hmm.
industry at a certain level. And when you speak about the floor, that is very, very important because when a man come in, him not understand by charging low, he might hurt himself. Him not understand that, you know.
In the
Because
long
what
run.
means that Yannick, when him go some man try for upgrade film price later down, the man go like, bruv, but you say $200, so oh no, you want $1,000. So no matter how better him work get to, the man go like, yo, bro,
Yeah,
what you talk about? You know make no sense. You know mean, yo, he's a $200
yeah.
man, so you want to go to $1,000 right away. So him have to understand from the jump, say, yo,
Yeah.
listen, if me even want to come in low, let me come in at something there. $500 because I just come in and try and build my way up to this $1,000. But not come in so low that the people might look upon him like, what is this? You know what I mean? It doesn't make no sense. So these are the things we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Why it is very important for a young creative ask questions. Reach out to the people. Them are not bullies. These people are gonna ask you if me online and you see me and you say, yo, me I do certain things. Reach out to me like Shango. So how much I charge for travel? How much I charge for do these things? How much I charge for do that? But quick for answer you make you understand because me want if you charge the same. So when a man link me and them link you, we are charge very similar. So the man say, yo, maybe Shango have more experience on the road. So we are gonna carry Shango. So me want you talk about that now. Being a creative director, how sometimes being out on the road and you know, how you balance being out on the road and doing you know what I mean, back to back to back and get your content out. Like, what is the process where you come up with for make you be able to do this edit from one city to a next city type of vibes?
Great question. It's a very exhaustive process. I'm not gonna lie, because it's a lot of content being turned over on a regular schedule and a short amount of time, and content creation isn't just always just about just the work. Sometimes it's a lot of your own mood, your own enthusiasm to do it, your own energy levels in terms of how tired you are, your interest towards it. So there's a whole heap of different things that have to be balanced mentally and physically to be able to keep up with such a high demand of stuff. And it take a level of awareness, like when you're up on the road, you have to be able to eat right, you have to eat things that give you a lot of energy. You have to rest properly so that you don't burn out while on the road. You have to you have to develop a working system, meaning being able to balance the time you spend working and the time you spend resting and the free time where you have. You have to be able to manage your expectations with your boss, with your client who you're traveling with, and it's a intense balancing, and one has to be really, really aware. It takes a lot of presence of mind. It's not something that you can always just lock off and do, unless you just have a client that kind of, all right, we're just kind of turning out the similar thing all the time. But to stay creative, to stay interesting, one has to be very goal oriented and very organized and very self aware of their own self. Technical wise, I try to be very honest with myself in terms of I'm not the fastest of editors. I think I'm pretty decent, you see me? But me know man we can churn out a edit in a night quick and fast, way faster than me. I know I'm not really like that. I burn out very quickly editing videos. So I find other ways to get content out, like I embrace being able to create content on mobile devices like phones and stuff like that, and smaller cameras like say these and stuff like that. Stuff like this can really help compress just the large amount of footage when maybe coming out from one machine, and it's some micro content can be created really quickly on your phone, like the amount of hours that you put in to create some micro content may be very shorter than the long form content. So on a daily basis, you're creating some micro content that allows you to free up and have a more wholesome schedule. And then after supplying a certain amount of micro content, you can create a a larger combination of content, like a bigger edit that you push to your client. So that has kind of been my strategy, to stay active, because our objective while being on the road is to keep the visuals and the content like it's a living breathing thing, meaning things get stale, especially on tour, very quickly. If you're there in France today, you're in Germany tomorrow, you're in London next week, you don't necessarily want to hear about France on the day where you're in London. You want the content has to come out quick, so be you have to find a balance of things that look aesthetically pleasing and things that can be produced quickly, with as little resources as possible. So it's just combining the big edits with the small edits and the micro content to then create something that is living and breathing and consistent without just burning out yourself to a frazzle. Because trust me, it's really, really, really easy to do that. Isn't it? When you drive hours and long, long hours and anything there, fly on plane and go through how much immigration and people are questioning you because you're black and them thing there. It can be really taxing on multiple levels. So just the maintenance of the peace of mind and them thing there, well important, bro.
Brother. I know what you're saying them thing there. Right now, me I look on your website. YannickReid.com, people better know. Let's check it out. What heap of great content live on it. Me I look on your website and I see two booklets. Me see one where say a year of photos and me see one where say Ethiopia in motion. More you talk about them because a lot of people don't know say you have them books then you store them can go so one free and one is 10 US. But them can go so man check out. But talk about them two books and talk about the process of compiling these basically this documentary of photos, so to speak. Talk about that process that many people don't understand. Say, as a creative and out in the space, you are work for somebody, but you also can create content for yourself and create stuff like this. Talk to them and make them know.
Real great question though. Thanks. So those two books, one is a year in photos, a book I made about all the photos that I took in 2016, and then the other one is Ethiopia in Motion, a book that I made about the first trip that I made, well, the first and only trip that I made with Protoje to even in Jamaica, which is Rastafari dominant country. Ethiopia is a place where enough Rasta people hope to repatriate to one day. But some people may never get the chance to see that location. So I felt like it was a special place to go and document the whole process and not just for Instagram for people to kind of either just click like or scroll past, but something a little bit more comprehensive that if somebody feels interested to dive into a body of work and kind of see a little bit more deeper than just Instagram to see some of the different moments, I felt like, just making that and it being Africa and the motherland, me they just feel like we just do that for free, you see me? We just share that with other people who are curious about Africa, curious about Ethiopia, who want to see how people in the motherland living and them thing there. And it's just a gift from myself back to anybody who's curious. And the year in photos thing now is just 2016 was just a good year. A long time I didn't really read that book and thing, but I just wanted to compile all those images, and there are so many stories in the different images that I had that I didn't feel like I could just tell under one or two Instagram posts. And the great thing about the book is that it gives me the freedom to be as concise or expansive as I want to be. And just you have all of these photos, and I'm a great believer in documentation, because a lot of these images you post on Instagram and your stories are gone in 24 hours, or you post something and you post five things on top of it and it gets buried down in the content. When you can create a product or a body of work that can stand the test of time, if somebody wants to go back now and get a feeling of 2016, they can do that. And I believe that, like, especially photography and video, they age like wine and them stuff. The value at the present day might not be anything, but suppose they have a photo of where a building once stood. You see me, or what used to be somewhere, and you never know when something might get torn down or a different thing, or somebody might drop out or anything. It's always when things are gone, you start to try and gather up what was there to prove or give evidence of its existence. So I definitely believe in taking the time out to put things together, not just when things are gone, but while things are still here, so that when they are gone, it's not that time you're scrambling, but there's something more, the feelings that we had at this point, or just the relevance of certain things, little later down the line and everything. Little later down the line and everything. Yeah.
Right then, yeah man, like brother, you may say man, like that was huge in terms of what, how you look on documenting things. You know what I mean? Like it's very important to document stuff, you know what I mean? When they want a creative, sometimes not even when they're at the show. Because some people just dip on the road and they're just there for the show. To shoot the show basically. Sometimes you have to document the look of behind the scenes, them dip on the street, them interact with people, and all of this content and necessarily is content where you can use for them, you can also use in your portfolio. When you go up on the street, you capture around the place and stuff like that, you can use in your portfolio. So it's a thing whereas as a content creator, you have to, as I say, you have to have a certain type of mind for even travel. Because you know some do the traveling thing too, and when you do the traveling thing and out there, you have to dash out content and a dash out content, and you have to try to make each show seem different when is it basically the same set. It's the same set most of the time, from different to different city, and you have to capture it and also try not to over capture. So you get confused. This week you say, alright, then I gotta do this. The next day you say I gotta do this. And as I speak about the traveling, Yannick, we know that the traveling is ridiculous. Like moving up and down through all of these places and stuff like that. Sometimes crazy. Sometimes I go one place like when I go to Dubai, I remember the man them take on a drone. I made a plan for fly drone for do something. I'm like, yo, the man them take on a drone. So all them drone plan that we have disappeared. You know what I mean? So it good for make the young creative them understand. So we are going on the street, it the prediction you can't really predict what happen. So you make certain preparations, you plan certain way, but at the same time you have to be what I call it now flexible. Cause you can turn up on one show and oh you didn't want to shoot it, the man them a block you from go there so. And I say, oh, I can shoot this now when I done plan out all of this already. I go into the pit, the man them say, yo, you can't go into the pit too small. I go into the crowd, the man them say, you not have the right band. Or you go into the crowd. So this is one of the things when me as I try to even communicate with anybody when I travel, say, yo, make sure you get all the right credentials so I can move up and down because it limit me in terms of my creativity. When you get limited in terms of where you have planned, when you go up on a job, so to speak, or you combat that as a creative?
Yeah, man, no, me not lie, that is a extremely rough thing. It's a rough thing. You see me, you're there on the show, and everybody tell you say your credentials good, everything good, and then when your artist up on the stage, all security turning an idiot. You get me? Everybody turn fool and want block you from go everywhere where you did not go right before the moment that's important. Everything be jiggy, and then all of a sudden everybody start to lose them head. You get me? So it's a thing where I go through to. Combating those things is, one, just like what you said, it's a lot of prep, is a lot of, sometimes you have to reach the grounds early. You look at, you try to look at where you want to stand up, take yourself away from your client a little bit and go scope out the scene. um, Familiarize yourself with the crew, people on the stage, and say, yo, introduce yourself. Manners maketh the man. So you go and you say, yo, bless up, I'm creative director for Protoje. I know you guys busy and thing. I'm going to be shooting some stuff on stage and thing. Yeah, I just want to know if there's there's anything that people usually give you a problem with when they're shooting on stage and I don't want to get in the way. Let me know of anything that you prefer me to not do and what's okay. And sometimes when you extend that little thought for the crew them there, it make a big difference because sometimes now when the stuff start hit the fan, you know, a man might see you. I got through a thing like I talked to a security guard and him not let it through. A man might see and come and say, no, 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 yo, him good, him good, him good. Make him go through. So you never know who can vouch for you. So I'm going to try to talk to security, try for good with enough, as many people so them familiar with you. So when it's time to do your work, as many people can vouch for you, a man can come and say, oh, no, yo, he spoke to me earlier, no, yo, oh, no, man, him good, let him through, you see me? So this is another part of the strategy where I forgot you, is just be on all right, me show up there with my camera and I'm an artist and me need to be able to shoot this. No, you can't do that because when a big bouncer where twice the size say I'm gonna crush you, what you gonna do? But you appeal to people emotions from before, you pre-prep work. You make sure you have your band, you double check with them, they say, yo, is this the right band? Anything else we need? And say, well, blah, blah, blah. You give yourself time to even go at the office and if you need an extra band, you have them band there. Don't try just to reach 30 minutes before the set and them thing there. Sometimes you have to reach an hour and give yourself time to check out the lay of the land and then give yourself time to double check and meet people and make sure say things good and then give yourself time to settle, breathe, make sure your equipment good, everything on fire, SD card in there, battery charge up because a lot of time the moment come, I realize that oh the lens are stick or oh this that. You want to go through all of them things there, take a couple shots already and you know so everything jiggy. So when the moment happen, you don't know where your plan be. Everybody know who your face be, them know what to expect from you, and then that how you can make sure say you get your thing. Sometimes it's incredible and I just try to kind of always have a plan B in my mind, like what are the minimum requirements visually do I need to create something, and maybe I might have to finish it after, maybe I might have to put in a photo here and there for kind of stitch it and build a vibes, but you try to kind of have a floor, a base level of what are the common elements, walk on stage, you want to have a shot behind the artist, front of the artist, side of the artist, just some basic coverage. Then you have those basic pieces, you can create something. Yeah.
Gems, gems, gems. Yo, people, as I say, Yannick are the boss when it comes to the gems because even me, I listen to you and stuff like that. And most time I go up on the road, like we'll get it for sound check, but some of the time we don't necessarily, go there. People them see me who they are sound check and stuff like that, but I can't recall me ever go there like half an hour before and try and interact much with the people them. You know what I mean? What me try to do most times is make sure say my team mean whoever manage my team make sure all the credentials right and stuff like that. And it depends on the caliber artist where you're part to because when you're part with like for instance when we're part with Sean Paul in Canada and stuff like that, it was a much different thing, you know what I mean? Once them see a roll up with Sean Paul, nobody really want to get trouble because I'm like, yo, them a part of Sean Paul team. And the security them kind of just get that and stuff like that. But
Mm.
I must say sometimes the security them a move wild and crazy and them know where you go and place because you know have a band and stuff like that. But as I say, I've been on the road and people vouch me before who say, yo, because we have move around the space, so to speak, before and take some shots at the other artists, them and stuff like that. People them say, yo, that you are supposed to take the
Mm.
space because he might work with them people and stuff like that. But I can't recall, as I say, me going there and talking to the people, them and I try to make them understand, say, yo, you know what I mean? I'm supposed to be here, I'm working with this artist and XYZ. So that in itself is a gem for me. You know what I mean? As I say, me they have to learn to. And that's one of the main reasons for this show, you know what I mean? For learn from my fellow creatives them in the space and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
like that's a big, 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 big gem. And even the preparation, that is key. Make sure all your camera them are fire. Make sure you have all the SD card. Make sure say if you have an external mic, the mic will work. Make sure the battery charge up. All these things is preparation where you have to do before you even left the hotel with the artist. You check all of these things.
Yo, Shango. Me I say, yo, Shango, me no mean to interrupt you, but me I look on some of the comments
Yeah.
and them I say them nah hear you. Me I say people I say
Oh, the
audio.
audio low.
Me I say them I say no sound. Yeah, that them I say.
No, my audio dead man. Come here, I see the audio and the thing. I gotta check it. I gotta check it.
All right, cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, but you did
One,
I
one,
say, you
one,
did I
one.
say, is it me? Just. Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me bring up the mic. One. Now you hear me now? Sorry about that, people.
I see somebody say it's back now.
Yeah, man.
They
Sorry
can
about that,
continue.
people. But my mic, daddy, I see my mic. I mean, I watch your mic signal and my mic move. So, me expect when I get the audio and stuff like that. But as I say, Yannick just drop a bag of gems. Like 50 gems the man drop a while ago. I say, yo, you may say, man, you have to make sure you check all the things and make sure it's everything good to go. We are here now. Alright, cool. Yeah, so Yannick just drop a bag of gems as I say. You see me I say, and youth, you may say, man, as I say, that's why I always listen and I watch the thing them. And always I make sure say. May I try to get the mic out of the shot and see him here. So you know, it looks so professional with the mic in the shot, but you know what I mean? We are trying to make sure it's the audio alright. So the audio alright, people? Tell me if the audio live and everything, because we are trying to organize the audio same way.
Yeah, man, I see a couple people. I say, yeah, we are here now and say it live. Yeah, man.
Cool. Yeah, man. So being one of the creatives them way, you know what I mean? We in the space a good look while we see in the space and stuff like that, and we always are listening, especially when I go up on the Instagram and I talk something. Sometimes I some rant and stuff about. We always just listen to rants them and say, yo, you know what I mean? This have value, cause me believe say every creative, and that's the reason why this show is important to me. You know, every creative have something where them can share, where it can teach a next creative. You hear me say, Yannick? Every creative have something where them can share.
Them say it gone again, Shango. Them say it gone again.
How I go on? Hold on.
Shango, you have to check the cable.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe the cable.
think of something with the cable.
1, 2. You know? Tell me what I go on, people. Now you hear me now? Come on, now I go move the mic again. Me see the signal I go on and everything, you know. It gone again. Good now. He might move
As he
the
move
mic.
the mic, it gone cable.
Alright, tell me what I go on now. Mic thing here mash me up. Good sound gone bad. What that mean?
Good.
Alright, live. Alright, now I move the mic again.
It's a crackle, let me say.
Yeah, because and I touched the card because I how the card run. Sorry about that, people.
Yeah.
Keep the mic in the shot. Alright, I keep the mic in the shot. Same way so. Looks a professional still, but hold on. You know me not like the mic in the shot still. Hold on, people. Hold on. Bring the mic.
No, man, Shango, work with it, no, Shango.
Yo, brother.
Because you know what the people let me lose. You know want them lose the audio. Cause better them see the mic and I hear you than
yeah, when I hear me
the
now?
mic.
Tell me, hold on, I hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tell me what I go on, people. Just make this still.
Sound good on my end.
I'm listen back myself in my mic.
Yeah, man. Everybody I say, yeah, me I see somebody I say it sound good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So, as I say, yo, you know, Yannick just dropped some crazy gems. I'm gonna say, yo, as a producer, you know, you don't want the mic in the shot, so to speak. So, we're kind of trying to keep the mic out of the shot as best as possible. I lose my chain of thought. The man dropped some gems where even me I learn from, and as I say, when I create this show for we learn from each other, which is one of the things when we realize in the Jamaican space, it's somewhat lacking with the amount of people we are learning from the amount of people. So everybody have freedom like a clique and freedom like a friends and stuff like that. But a man really I get for reason, so to speak, with a next creative who is outside of film clique. So a man wouldn't necessarily get for reason with a Yannick, because Yannick in a film circle. A man wouldn't necessarily get for reason with a Lexa Art, because Lexa Art in a film circle. A man wouldn't necessarily get for reason with a Taj Francis, or you know what I mean. So this space talking to the various creatives them can help with the reasoning, so to speak. So them can listen back the creative and say, oh shoot, I saw them man the mindset stay and I saw them man the pre-things. So it's a good vibes. You know what I mean? So as I say, yo, I don't really have no more questions for Yannick, so we're just going to basically just have a general conversation about even the creative space in a Jamaican, how you look upon the creative space and where you see it can develop, and how we as creative overall can help improve the space.
Um, well, I think there's a lot of promise right now for the Jamaican creative landscape. Even despite what's going on with COVID, I definitely think that creatives are one of the bridges to making things happen. Just like a platform like this where you see Shango have him platform where him learning how to help people to broadcast on Instagram and have conversations that involve even more than two people. It is people like yourself and others who are going to have to be able to help to innovate to fill the gaps in between what we were used to prior to the COVID-19 thing is that creativity is going to help things with like live stream, art, culinary art, photography, videography, because all the photos where you see of certain things and videos of things happening is people, is real people, real photographers and real individuals who are going out there and taking risks to get the content to those who have to stay home. There still has to be somebody who does it. And the thing is also while the borders are closed, right? There's a lot of people who or tasks who may have been given to people who would come from overseas to do these tasks. And while the border is closed, those people can't come here to do those tasks. But some of those tasks really still have to get done. So I think there's for creatives who are looking for an opportunity because I'm not trying to pressure everybody to do a bag of work, you get me? But for creatives who are looking for an opportunity and looking for a way in, especially as we adjust to this new normal, this is like an opportunity where you can actually get the opportunity to display your talents and maybe fill the role of something that was done by somebody overseas. Certain man can come in for shoot video, certain man can come in to take certain photos or run certain production programs, and these needs have to fall onto the local creative community. A lot of creatives to create visual content or whatever, these are people are home and on their phones a lot more, and it's content from people like ourselves that are going to assist in providing entertainment and relaxation and alleviating a lot of people who may be stressed by updates and stuff like that may alarm them and stuff like that. So creatives definitely have a multifaceted role in bridging the gap in helping to repair the Jamaican society and provide value. So, for creatives who are looking for an opportunity to be seen or get some new opportunities and do some new work, is a great time. There are some people right now who are just trying to get get by, day to day, and that's totally fine. You know what I mean? You don't have to pressure yourself to be somewhere and do something. You are hungry and ready for opportunities. And these are the times now that it's really good to show your stuff because a lot of businesses, a lot of persons, they will need the assistance from creatives to be able to and stuff like that. A lot of pages, even like this one, go allow creatives to take over and go live from their pages because it's an additional and more diverse form of entertainment and value that they can add to different audiences. Showing people how to make tacos and make drinks from home, or showing people how to edit from their phone, or showing people how to showing people how to translate creative writing into visuals to make your Instagram pop or whatever. There are so many things that people are searching for. So if you feel the need to, um, you can really rise to the occasion to really fill in some gaps right now that have been missing. So, I think it's a great time to be a creative. It's still overall a tough time, but even if your objective is to get an opportunity, opportunities are there. If your objective is to learn something new, there's time to learn something new. And if their objective is to take a break, this may even be a great time to take a break and learn to adjust. So there's something for everybody right now. Yeah.
brother, gems again. Until I say Yannick drop the gems, you know, I swear. Like, brother,
Yeah,
you
free
may say,
sauce.
we could have talked for like a million hours. You know it go when creatives attack. Them kind of
Yeah.
talk. But this Instagram thing have a certain time limit. And as I say, when me want the people them for the
Mm-hmm.
una day you're listening to and stuff like that, gems again. Even somebody on the live I say gems again. You know what I mean? Um, so I'm gonna say Instagram have a time limit, and right now we have 55 minutes, so it's really the outro time and stuff like that. But Yannick, as usual, blessings become a reason. Blessings, may I tell you, brother. Blessings. One blessings because
Don't
my
know,
thing
big
is
bro.
we always a listen. Yeah, you know, in your live and them thing, in your stories and them stuff there, I always a listener where I say, yo, Yannick,
Mm-hmm.
I always I speak some things and I give some gems to the industry. I mean, I say, yo, this is something we want to share with the youth them. So, but definitely I say, yo, Yannick, I
Mm-hmm.
for them on the show. And I will more people out there where I got drop some gems for the people them, and I'm glad to see you come through and respect for your time and everything. And a
Yeah,
blessings,
bro, you
brother.
don't know.
Guidance out there in the
Mm.
COVID-19 world, you know what I mean, the new normal. And we really appreciate you coming through and holding a vibe. So like I don't
Yeah,
finish
man,
up the
big
show,
bro. Thanks for
everybody.
having me on the show.
Sorry for the
Mm-hmm.
little mishaps with the audio and them thing there. So it's time for us to finish up the show. So guidance to everybody who are coming through and listen, and for all the people who are gonna watch it afterwards. So run the outro and blessings, Yannick. We'll talk next time.
Yeah, man.